Will there be Dream SMP 2? I don't know about that one. Maybe. We could play Dream SMP. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Oh, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. I had some shit going on, so I didn't get to hang out earlier. Hope you guys are doing well. What's up, everybody? Ugh. Hermitcraft, yeah. Maybe they'll invite me. What's up, everybody? Now we're just playing some survival. Hope you guys are doing well. Mighty Knight Season 3? Yeah. Are we really lagging that hard? I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry, everybody. Ugh. Hope you guys are doing well, though. What's up? Internet still not solved? God, no. No. It's really, really fucked up. Michael, have you ever heard of Candace? Yeah, Candace joke, fucking go off and die. Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of it. Michael, have you heard of Homestuck? Okay. Okay. Someone has to explain this to me. Listen, I'm not smart, okay? I'm not smart, and I admit it. I'm not smart. I admit it, okay? I'm pretty fucking stupid. But what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Is the fact am I raging static RS because of RuneScape? Did you hear about the epic SMP ending? What? 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 No, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I have some opinions on epic SMP. No ill will, but opinions. You know, I think as with every SMP, I was kind of wishing you were on the end. So here's all right. Let's talk candidly for a minute. And I say this from a place of no drama because I love everybody that was on that server, and I enjoyed playing on it quite a bit. But I just want to like get, I guess, my thoughts out because I liked Epic SMP. I really liked it. But let's like hit it running, right? So Epic SMP was a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. But if I remember correctly, which I believe I do, it started off not intending to be a live, like, lore type of server. We were told, like, the day before that it happened, that there was going to be lore. And that's fine, right? Like, that's fine. Like, lore, if done correctly, is really fucking fun. And it's something that I've really wanted to experiment with a lot in streams. And I think that lore is a really fucking cool concept because I think it opens up the potential for really well done storytelling if the person writing it is skilled enough. But I think the problem with Epic SMP was that are we lagging? I'm sorry, everybody. God. This is fucking obnoxious. Hello? Can you guys hear me? Can you at least hear me? Or are we fucked? If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Yes, yeah, okay. So there's a delay, but it's okay. Okay. So I think here's my issue. I think that when it comes to lore, you have to figure it out pretty fucking early. And the problem with Epic SMP, the immediate problem, was that day one we were told, or 24 hours before we started it, we were told, hey, there's going to be lore. And none of us accounted for that. None of us accounted for that. Because we asked, a few of us asked, like, you know, hey, is this going to be lore? And I think there might have been a miscommunication there. I will chalk it up to a miscommunication. And I think that when people thought, will there be lore? I think people thought, will there be Dream SMP lore? And if you go back and look at, like, let's say SMP Live. I'd like to use Epic SMP as a use case of lore gone wrong. God, we're dropping like flies here. I'm sorry. I'd like to use Epic SMP as a case of lore gone wrong. Not because it was bad. Can you guys hear me? Am I stuttering, or can you guys fucking hear me? I know that there's a delay, and I'm fine with a delay, but if it's fucking cutting out every word, it's going to be really hard to talk about this. We can hear. Okay. So fucking day one of Epic SMP. Long story fucking short. We were told that there was going to be lore. I believe that like 24 hours before that, we were told that there was going to be no lore. Now, if you go back and look at something like SMP Live, there was lore. There was lore in SMP Live, and there was lore in SMP Earth, and there was lore in a bunch of these different servers. On Epic SMP, lore kind of had to like, the story had to kind of take a back seat. And I think that that's a really unfortunate situation, because if we were all told, hey, we're going to be writing a story, and that's the gimmick, then everybody would have been on board. Most people, I think, would have at least been on board slightly, not everybody, but a lot of people would have. I think the downside with it, though, is that whenever you create a server, and it's kind of unfortunate, because I think that there has to be one of two situations. Epic SMP, at least from a lore perspective, was one of the worst situations that you could have ever had. But the people who manned the lore, Swagger and Trevor, they made the best out of a terrible situation. The server starts up. The person who creates the server, Matt Watson, seemingly just disappears from it, doesn't want, I guess, much to do with it or whatever, alongside a bunch of other people who essentially have nothing to gain from this server. Whenever you make a big project like an SMP Live, and I always reference SMP Live because I think SMP Live is one of at least like I think SMP Live is one of the greatest situations of a live SMP. And when I say live, I specifically mean Twitch viewership. The reason for that is because on Epic SMP, everybody was big. Everybody was fucking big. And there was nothing to be gained. There was nothing to be gained from Epic SMP. SMP Live, however, you fucking had something to gain. You had something to gain. Constantly. I was small on Epic SMP. I would probably go as far as saying I was the smallest person on Epic SMP who was not friends with half of the people on there. Epic SMP, I think, felt very, very LA. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing in the slightest. But it's very clear that Epic SMP was a bunch of people who all knew each other and all wanted to start a server. And that's fucking great. That's cool. That's a common thing. You know what I mean? People make servers with people they know and people they like, because if you don't want to hang out with the people you like, then who do you want to hang out with? You wouldn't want to hang out with people you don't like. But so the server comes out and everybody and their mother wants to play on it. And that's fucking great. The problem with it is that the server, I don't think I'm spilling any crazy beans here saying this, but the problem with it is whenever you invite really small people, and I say this in a completely I say this in the best way that I can. When you invite really small people, you get this point where, okay, are the people who are on the server, who are playing on the server, using people who are bigger? That question could even be asked of me. Is Michael on this server because he's using bigger creators to establish himself? And I think the 100% correct answer to that question is yeah. And it's unfortunate, but I also think it's a reality. No, I was not using people to get big, but in the industry that we're in, sharing a space with another big creator oftentimes just leads to growth. In the case of SMP Live, it was me and Schlatt. And, before that, it was me growing off of other people. I gained most of my viewership from SMP Earth. I had the most subs that I ever had during SMP Live, but most of my viewership came from SMP Earth. And that's because, SMP Earth, we learned how to live stream. We learned what to do. It was, for all intents and purposes, for people who played on SMP Live, it was just not a better version of what we were used to, but we were all more experienced, right? We all were more experienced. We all knew each other. We all knew these little things. We all had our little factions and camps. And so, and I say factions and camps loosely. I more so mean that in a very literal sense. And when that happens, that's a good thing, because creators get the opportunity to grow and learn, and when creators are gifted that opportunity, there's this inherent like idea that people will do anything to grow. And if you asked me during SMP Live what I would do to grow, I would tell you anything. And that's just the truth. I was willing to do anything to grow because I love what I do. I have, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. And I'd like to be as transparent as I can possibly be. A few days ago, or not a few days ago, probably like a week or two ago, I had a conversation with Dream. And it was a conversation that I needed to have. I really, really needed to have. And the conversation was essentially about growing and understanding what it meant to be a creator, and wanting to figure out where I need to be, because I love what I do. I love it. But I tend to get in my head more often than I don't. And it's really unfortunate because it's a vicious mental cycle, I think, with content creators that you guys really don't see all that often. You guys don't really see this side of content creators that I think content creators see. Content creators know how desperately they're willing to work. But a lot of content creators aren't willing to put in the effort. I think that Epic SMP failed because there was zero desperation. And let me kind of like elaborate on that. Dream SMP, I think, is done well. One, because everybody on there is like individually, not even like in a combined effort, but individualistically, all of those creators are some of the most talented creators I've ever seen. And I am privileged to call a lot of those people my friends. Not all of them, but a few of them. And every time I meet somebody from that server, I have nothing but the utmost respect for them. I have nothing but the utmost respect for them. And you can tell that there is a level of desperation that these creators have for what they do. And they are willing to do anything to grow. A lot of creators feel comfort in what they do and where they get, but they literally have zero reason to feel like they need to grow, or reason to feel like they need to move past a certain point. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think, and this is no dig at the names that I'm going to mention, but I want to say them because I think it's the most accurate. I think inviting people to the server, like Ego Raptor or Fitz or Jack's Films or like Too Mad or Weston or William Osman, or not Weston, I'm sorry. Well, Weston, and at least with Epic SMP, and Dolan Dark and Eddie Burback and Gus Johnson and, some of these other creators, Matt Watson, Ted Nivison, people like that. I think that, unfortunately, those people are kind of so big that they don't necessarily need the server. And because they don't need the server, they don't have to play. Right? And because they don't have to play, there's zero incentive for those people to come back. If Jack's Films really enjoyed his experience on Epic SMP, he would have just came back. And, he came back, once or twice. Wait, didn't Matt and Modest Cube make the Epic SMP? Yeah, Matt made it. But he, he didn't come back more than I think like 5 times. You know what I mean? Which, if you're the owner of the server, that's a little hard. And obviously, we're not all in the room. We're not all in the room. We're not all, we don't know what's going on. I don't know what goes behind the scenes, and I'm not going to act like I do. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, Matt didn't have anything going on. He could have played. But it hits this wall of, if the server owner won't even play it, then who will? And you know what? I made my own server. And guess who didn't play on it? Me. Because I was in such a fucking mental rut that I couldn't play it. I couldn't. I just fucking could not play on another SMP. Which is why I will never, ever cast a stone, Matt's way or anybody like that. I've been there. I've done that. And some people have even said, that's why another SMP died. I personally think that, another SMP died, not necessarily just due to that, but I think that it died to the idea that we had just been on the heels of, a lot of people felt, the worst SMP experience to date, or SMP Earth. And that's unfortunate, because SMP Earth had so many fun moments. It had so many great things, but nobody wanted to dedicate the time to another SMP, because we had just dedicated so much time to Minecraft. And nobody wanted to have another obligation. Nobody wanted to have another obligation. And it just came at a bad time. Exactly. Yeah, it just came at a bad time. And I think Epic SMP, I think the concept of Epic SMP was immediately a big issue, because people fucking were too big to grow from that server. Nobody, and you know what? I'll shut the fuck up about that. I'm not going to say nobody, but the people who needed it grew from it. I grew from it. You know what I mean? I grew from Epic SMP. I grew massively. But the problem with it was, and this is where it sucks, I had a moral problem. And it's going to sound really stupid, but I think you guys are going to understand where I mean what I mean when I elaborate on it a little bit more. Think of an SMP except for another SMP, where I fully admit that I fucked up on that one. Every other SMP I played until the very end, or until I couldn't support it anymore. I played on Roughhouse SMP almost every day. It was a single player experience. SMP Live, I like, this is going to sound weird, but raising the bar that night that we blew up my fucking house on SMP Live, that was the end. Like, and I want that to be like very fucking clear. We're lagging hard. I'm sorry. I don't exaggerate when I say this. The SMP Live event that we had, Raising the Bar 2. God, we're lagging hard. Can you guys still hear me? Are we put a yes if you can hear me clearly. Am I cutting out? I want to make sure. Because I don't want this to get misconstrued. I don't want somebody to be like, damn, Michael's egotistical. Yes. Okay. Raising the Bar 2 happened on SMP Earth, and it happened on SMP Live. We split that time in that segment in between the two because I wanted desperately to thank SMP Live for what it did for me. And I asked Schlatt, and I asked Carson, and I asked, a lot of those guys, hey, can I do this? Can we do Epic, or can we do Raising the Bar 2 on another on SMP Live? And I remember Schlatt telling me that they'd wait, that they would wait to shut down SMP Live for Raising the Bar. And it was a wonderful experience. And it's something that I will always thank him for. It's something that I will always have, the most respect for him for. They waited. Right? They waited. And I watched Junkie for 6 hours. No. Not the reunion. No. Not the reunion. I'm talking 2. Raising the Bar 2. Not the reunion. Raising the Bar 2, they waited to shut down to SMP Live for that. And that fucking night, they put out an at everyone in the SMP Live server where it was literally, and I'm certain I could find it. I'm certain I could find it if I were to go in there and look. Yeah, literally. It's funny. December 15th, 2019 at 3:37 a.m. Coming to an end. The server has had an excellent run and has helped many small creators be established and grow. We hope everyone involved had fun while it lasted. As of right now, there are no plans of a second season or an iteration. On December 25th, we will release the server's map publicly on the SMP Live subreddit, which will then be subsequently archived and preserved. In the meantime, the map as it currently is, December 15th, 3:34 EST, has been preserved, and the backup will act as the official release of the SMP Live map. Then, that was crossed out because people complained. The server will remain online until January 1st. I have enabled the experimental development build of the Wacky Wheel. The build of the Wacky Wheel is mostly map destructive. Since it was experimental, I never had time to complete it. Yada, yada, yada. Thanks for being a part of this. And that night, literally, the server was supposed to die. And I feel like that server, SMP Live, had a level of desperation that no other server will have, like, hereforth. Because there's no creators that are desperate enough to have to consistently play on a server like that. Unless you're on a server, and I'm going to... And by the way, desperation is not bad. I want to fucking elaborate on that now. I am desperate for this job. I love this job. It's something that I say consistently. I am desperate for my job. I love my job desperately. But the people who are too big to recognize that really small growth are never the ones that you're going to see playing on this server. Because there's 0 point for them to waste their time on it when they could grow or just stay the size that they are without having to worry about it. Because for a lot of people, streaming takes away time from what they should be doing. In the case of Jack's film, streaming on Twitch would take away from his time to create Yai or another project or another show or streaming something else entirely. In the case of, I think like in the case of, somebody like Schlatt, it would take away from his ability and time to create the videos that he's doing. In the case of other people, whatever. I think the closest I've ever seen a server to that desperation level, and I think it's a totally different form of desperation, which and it's not even a bad thing. It's something that I fucking legitimately feel so much for is Dream SMP. Dream SMP and now Origin SMP. I think that those servers have a level of desperation that I've not seen in a long time. And I think it's so interesting seeing that because those people know the growth that comes from those servers and therefore they feel, I think, privileged enough to play on them and keep them going. And maybe I'm talking out my ass. Maybe I'm talking out my ass. Maybe I'm wrong on that. You know what I mean? But I think whenever you're a creator for long enough, like me, and you have failed so many times that you can no longer count how many times you failed, I slightly feel like I have some level to talk on that. And to even get into other, projects and things like that. It's not always just like SMPs. It's also just other things. Like one of my favorite examples. One of my favorite examples was when Sly asked me to be a part of his Pokemon thing. I sucked ass at the Pokemon thing, but that became a goddamn joke. But it was a goal that I saw as an opportunity and I took it. And there was a desperation to grow out of where I currently was. And it's something that I think seeing how big everybody was on those servers, nobody had to play it. Nobody had to play it. And it kind of sucks because I think we're
getting
Angel Bulbs, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you're doing well. I think it kind of sucks because you hit this weird wall where you don't want creators to feel like it's a job because that makes it not fun. But on the same side of it, I really think if you're not desperate enough to play on one of those servers and grow from it, then it'll never fucking do well. I think people played on SMP Live because people wanted that success. There were people, including myself, who wouldn't play anything other than SMP Live just to get partner. And I'm happy I did it. I know people who were on SMP Live And the moment it died, that was it. There was zero chance of them ever getting partner again. Unless something big came out. Unless something big happened. And it's really unfortunate. I think that the way that a lot of those servers kind of have to be ran is that, you know, if you really want to, sorry, chat, don't acknowledge it. I know I'm acknowledging it by saying don't acknowledge it, but on the same fucking side. Yeah, doesn't matter. I think there's so much shit to these SMPs though. I think these these SMPs and these bigger projects and these bigger concepts, I think that they all have to have some level of desperation. Because if nobody's desperate enough to continue playing, then nobody will. And I think that kind of sucks because, you know, like, you know, take it with like Rough House and whatnot. Rough House, you know, like, am I desperate for Rough House to work? Yeah, I'm desperate for Rough House to work. But I've said it again and I'll say it before. Or I've said it before, I'll say it again. You know, I am desperate for Michael McChill to work more than I am for Rough House to work. Because I think that Rough House is a concept. I think Rough House is a concept. While it's great, there's so much that has to be done there, and it's such a group effort that I can't pull the weight of everybody else involved. So I'll just keep growing me. You know, I'll keep growing me. I'll keep doing what I need to do. I'll keep pushing in the fields that I know I'm good at. And I think that's kind of scary because, you know, to evidence that fact, you know, like, you know, this is the worst month we've ever had. And, you know, I'm going to blame it more so on Comcast than I am anything else. But this is the worst month we've ever had. But coincidentally enough, it's also right after Epic SMP. And so here's the question. If I'm desperate for growth, why didn't I stay on Epic SMP? And I think the problem with it was I had played on so many servers where I had been one of the last people playing that at that point it was a single player world, one, and two, I don't think the name held any weight unless I was a bigger creator. And I think that's how that worked. SMP Live was such a categorized fucking SMP that there were entire boards dedicated to logging exactly what people did every single day up until, I think, the final 2 months. Because nobody gave a fuck at that point. Because the server was just a single player world. And then there were too many people playing on it. And you couldn't categorize it all anymore. You couldn't pay attention to the fact that Michael went to the Nether and made this. There was no point in categorizing it because it wasn't a bigger moment or whatever. And it's funny because going back and looking at the Dream SMP, that's happening right now. That's happening right now. Epic SMP, I think its biggest flaw was, one, inviting such big names that clearly had zero true desire to play Minecraft, except for the idea of, like, wouldn't it be funny if I played Minecraft? And then I also think it was a bad idea to do lore, the way that it was handled anyway. Lore is great until you're told that the lore doesn't matter. I remember that first day, it was like, if you don't want to do lore, you know, don't, like that's fine. But you know, like, even if you don't want to do lore, never acknowledge the whole. Turn off slow mode? Not now. I'm paying attention to the way that it's working. I have it on for a reason. I'll turn it on, or I'll turn it off in a minute, but there's a reason it's on. I can lower it. Hold on. I'll lower it to 10 seconds. I think that... Oh, God. Sorry, everybody. I think that Epic SMP's unfortunate lore... Or not lore, unfortunate lore. But unfortunate situation was that there were people who... I think if you ask them legitimately... Like, okay. Half of the people who were playing on that server have no idea what the fuck Minecraft is. I don't think Jax Films played Minecraft a day in his life. Because my man fucking looked like voiceover Pete on day one of SMP Live. It was so horrendous trying to see people walk around on Epic SMP because they couldn't figure it out. And I'm not judging their fucking playstyle or ability or anything like that. It's just more so like, you know, when you put people into a sphere because they're big, but not because they don't know how to play a game, it's kind of really hard to then be like, okay, and we're going to role play. You know, put a fucking, put a kid who, you know, does arithmetic on a stage and then tell him that he has to, you know, do a Shakespearean sonnet while on a fucking unicycle, and he's gonna flounder. But the kid's fucking excellent in other areas, right? He's excellent in other areas, but if he doesn't know the fucking stage, if he doesn't know how to ride a unicycle, if he doesn't know a single Shakespearean sonnet, then the act doesn't work. It's like handing a fucking person who's not a magician a deck of cards and saying, do a trick. Sure, you can fucking maybe force one card or fucking do something with sleight of hand, but you can't really do a full trick. A lot of the times it's very fucking clear. So then to say, hey, by the way, all of you guys who have never played Minecraft before, you need to like, one, not ever reference this hole. Never reference this hole. I think quite literally on day one, Jack walked past the hole and said, "That's a big hole." and people around him who didn't know Minecraft were like, "Yeah, that's a huge hole. That's crazy. What happens if you fall in?" You know, and it's like, okay, so are they being assholes? Or do they not know? And I have to believe it's the latter. I don't think they're being assholes. I just think they don't know. It's really interesting. Like, watching these servers be made, watching people play, watching people go through, I think, the steps of figuring them out is really interesting. It's something that every single server has to go through. Unless, you know, you have the same exact people playing on the same exact server. I think that's the only step in which you you don't have to deal with it. I don't know. I have respect to the people who make it work. To the people who do Dream SMP. To the people who do Origin SMP. To the people who play on other servers like that. I have nothing but respect. But then I see these servers that you know come out. I think one of the most recent ones was SMP on Air. And apparently there was nothing but fucking drama with that one. I'm not shocked in the slightest. I have my own experiences with one of the people who runs SMP on Air, and I've never, ever, ever had a positive experience with that person. So I can't say that I'm innately shocked by it. I think that, but it's funny because also looking at that, I think that the people who were playing on SMP on Air and who created SMP on Air had exactly what I was talking about. Desperation. They had a desire to do something and to grow at any means necessary. But unfortunately, when you don't know how to fucking do it and the only thing that you know how to do is market it, well then you got a problem. Marketing is one thing. You can generate hype through marketing in any way, shape, or form. Marketing is not a hard thing to do. But it's hard to get people to, one, show out, two, show up and work on a project, and then have people invested in it. Investment is one of the hardest things to do. And I don't think for a fucking second Jax Films' main viewer base was invested in Epic SMP. It's weird. It's weird. And I use Jax Films as my main example just because I think that he is such a good example of like a outwardly perceived problem. Obviously, it could have been a totally different situation, but I use him as an example because I think he's at least like observably different than everybody else on that. Be careful while mining. Don't want to accidentally run into a hole and confuse your audience on why something is even there by pretending it's not even there. Yeah, it's like, it was weird. It was a really weird situation, and you know, like, you know, again, it's nothing. There's no hate towards it or anything like that. But you know, I think I'll air one of my grievances, and you know, obviously I don't know the situation, so I'll kind of shut up about it once I say it. But you know, from my understanding, Ted was one of the people who wanted to do the lore. He was one of the ones that vouched for it, I think, the most. And then he kind of like disappeared on it. And I like Ted. I'm not shitting on Ted by any standard. I like Ted a lot. But I think that's like kind of part of the problem slightly, where it's like saying you want to do something, then everybody kind of being like, yes, that's what we're going to do. And then not doing it past that point is, I think, kind of this like really weird idea to me that like, if the idea is that we're going to like not acknowledge the void, because I mean, hello, if you were a fan of SMP Live, you know the void is a bit from SMP Live. You know, if he isn't there to lead people on the characteristics of the void, then we can't do anything. We can't fucking mention it. And so for 3 months, people are walking around this fucking void and there's theory and there's fodder and there's this like concept that the void is bigger than it is, when in reality it's a big gaping fucking hole in the ground because no one's writing anything for it, that's inherently an issue. And then, unfortunately, and this is where like I think my biggest criticism comes from, people who are not willing to role play are kind of forced into it. They're kind of demanded that they have to like role play on that regard, even though they don't know what the fuck is going on. And so like, I know the way I did it was kind of shitty, and admittedly it was kind of shitty. But every time, like, because we accidentally mined into it one day, the void, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. I just can't mine any further. That's so weird. You know what I mean? And because how the fuck am I going to write that off? What am I going to do? How am I going to fucking explain that? You know what I mean? Somebody fucking tell me how I'm going to improvise my way out of that one. I think inherently there's, we're going to remove all of these categories. Hi, everybody. You are allowed to speak now. Everybody is allowed to speak. Sorry. I think, like, conceptually, lore is a problem unless... Yeah, beautiful flower garden, exactly. I think conceptually, lore is a problem unless everybody's in on it. Which, again, is why I think the Dream SMP does it so fucking well. It's so clear, it's so fucking cut that, like, anybody who is a part of that is involved. And that's why I love what those servers do. And I don't just say it because, I want to play on it and things like that. If it's not fucking obvious, I want to play on it. I want to join in on those types of things. Those are the types of things that I strive for. And I think that's, I think it's unfortunate because, looking at how, okay, so here's my final piece on the lore, and then I think we're just gonna move on, and we'll talk about other things. But I think this is where, I'm gonna like kind of leave my final thoughts regarding the lore. Swagger kind of took the best out of a worse situation. Swagger played on the server so much. Swagger put in so much fucking time. Swagger went out of his way to learn all of this shit. Swagger fucking went out of his way to be as nice as possible to nearly everybody who, came in and hung out with him. There was a goddamn bit about Epic SMP where, oh man, the only person Swagger likes is Michael. Because every time I walked over, Swagger was only nice to me and then proceeded to yell at anybody who came within 5 feet. And it was funny. And it was something that I wanted to explore more. It was something that I wanted to have fun with from a, one, lore concept, but two, also from the concept of like, I like this person. I want to fucking hang out with this person more. But then I'll admit I got busy and I think I'm going to open up more than I would really like to admit, but I'm going to open up. I was depressed. I think I was at my lowest a few months ago. And I say lowest loosely. But I was pretty fucking low. At least as far as I've been in a few years. And I needed a break, and I needed time, and I needed to just think. And I needed to think about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And unfortunately, that meant alongside, you know, just not playing on the server much anymore, it also just kind of was this, like, putting things into check moment where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be the last person playing on an SMP anymore. I don't want to be the last person doing this again. I don't want to be the last person doing this again. So I put shit into check, and I paid attention to me, and I did myself a solid, and I didn't force myself to do anything, which is very unlike me. I force myself to do more than I should. You guys know that. But, and this is where I think it's just the more unfortunate, like, reality side of it. By the time that I was ready to come back to Epic SMP, things had progressed to a point where, and this is where I think it's a little hard to say, but like, if I were to jump in, I don't think it would have made any sense. You know, like let's be realistic for 2 seconds, right? If you guys watched the ending tonight, where would I have fit in there? Michael doesn't live stream for 4 months. Michael doesn't, or not 4 months, but Michael doesn't live stream on Epic SMP for 4 months. Michael doesn't make content. Michael doesn't do shit surrounding these other members. So how can I possibly be there for the ending? So as much as I would have loved to have been there for the last few days and weeks, I just kind of didn't really do anything because I didn't view it as a place I could jump in. And I know that's probably not entirely true, but I would have been a third wheel. Exactly. I knew I could have jumped in. I knew it would have been an open arms situation. But from a lore perspective, I would have rathered that server end with the characters who, at least for the last few weeks, have went through, you know, the story. And I don't think I would have, and this is where I think I'm just being honest, I don't think I would have wanted to just be quiet for 30 minutes. I don't think I would have, because I've been on my fair share of servers, SMP Live and the fucking talent shows, where you have to sit there for 2 hours and watch fucking people talk. I mean, Charlie came back for it. Yeah, but they worked Charlie into it, though, right? They worked Charlie into it. Charlie, fucking, the way they worked him into it was he was working and he was spinning a fucking gear powering the server. They wrote him into that. But, you know, my character was less of a character because, and I think this is just a more honest, I think that this is just a boohoo me problem. I didn't really have, I don't think I had enough like footing on that server, at least that I felt comfortable with. I think that like on SMP Live, I had nothing to lose. You know, which sounds weird to say, but on SMP Live, I had nothing to lose, and I think I brought a lot of ideas to the table, for little things, and it was funny, and like, you know, like one of my favorite, you know, like bits that I have on SMP Live was, weirdly enough, from one of the talent shows where I'm fucking sitting there on the server and out of fucking nowhere, you've got Schlatt and Carson judging these people's inventions, and then I fucking walk out with a command block and a block of TNT, and I'm like, I have a fucking bomb, and I tried to hold the event hostage. Because how the fuck does a normal player get a command block? I thought that was funny, but a lot of people were like, oh, that's cringy. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, that's whatever. But I had nothing to lose from that. And that was one of those moments that I think like, oh, I grew from there. And I grew not from that moment directly, but I think people were like, oh, this guy's funny. As where like, I think on Epic SMP, I think it was probably just a boo-hoo situation. Like, get the fuck over it and learn how to, work with more people or learn how to do this or whatever. And I fully admit that. But I also think at least my inclusion kind of also just came down to the funk that I was mentally in and things like that. So therefore, by the time that the end was wrapping around, I just felt like I couldn't really be involved all that much. And I think it's unfortunate. I think that it is an unfortunate like situation. And, and I think for that first month, there was a level of desperation that I had. I played on it damn near every single day. I played on it consistently. I enjoyed it. I played on it for hours at a time. I was doing a ton of work on it. But I think to all the people who watched it, you could gradually see where people logged off. Not even gradually, exponentially see where people logged off and never came back. It's weird. I'm a little sad. The thing I remember the most about it was that it didn't go to plan. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think it is like I think that is like the most sad piece of it. I think like realistically because it had so much potential, I think, to be such a great concept, but as SMPs tend to do, like I said, nobody has the desperation to keep playing. And when that happens, people stop. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Which is, I've I'll say it because I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you handed me an opportunity to play on a server that I think had a lot going for it, you would not see me doing almost anything else. I would play the ever-living fuck out of I feel bad for Trevor because he tried so hard. Yeah, and it is unfortunate that that's the case. I think that it's super fucking sad that it didn't go out the way that it should have and things like that. Again, the finale was not bad. I watched a little bit of it. It's just that the finale played to the it played to the best that it could. They played a fiddle with one less string. And when you have that happen, you can only play so many songs. It's fucking hard to play an instrument with one less string, one less note, one less whatever. Locking certain things away adds a layer of challenge. It's sad. Fucking Rav. Felt awful for Rav. Yeah, it's fucked, and I think it really is fucked because I don't know, it's so weird. I sort of like the Dream SMP better when all the lore was mostly spur of the moment, and when things got mostly pre-written, it seemed all went out the window. See, it's crazy to me because I'm down with pre-written shit. I'm completely down with pre-written shit. I love the idea of pre-written content. I think that is something that is fucking, like, as a concept, completely magical, and it's something that I have recently explored. I want to, like, I don't want to speak too much because, one, it's not my place, and two, the project is bigger than me. But there was a concept that I was discussing a few weeks back, with some people from Rough House and some other things, where I wanted to do something lore related, and I thought it would be a fucking great concept, and I thought it would be really fucking neat. And now it seems to be potentially in a different bubble than it once was, which I think is very cool. But I don't know. Pre-written stuff is fun, but then you lose the shock value. Having planned lore and stuff just takes away from the magic of, oh my god, this is happening right now. That's not entirely true, though. It depends on how you sell it. It depends on how you sell it. If you have a bunch of shitty actors, then yeah, that's the case. You know, not to sound awful, but, like, if you're surrounded by people who can't act, then yes. But if you're surrounded by people who can, you would never know the difference. I think that I am a decent enough actor that if I were to begin acting right now, I don't think a lot of you guys would be able to tell the difference in Michael that is on and Michael that is off. Right now, I'm slightly in between. Right? Because I'm carefully paying attention to my words. I know the way that I want to deliver them. I know the way that I want to say them. I know the way that I want to present them. But I don't want to come across as fake when I say them. And I think coming across, I think having to teach yourself to not come across as fake is just part of streaming. But I think a lot of people kind of can't figure that out, unfortunately. I think it's really fucking fucked because it's hard because you've got a lot of people who kind of don't have the acting chops to keep a project, to keep you engrossed in a project. My tick with that is whenever something happens, I laugh really hard, and I can't really stop that. Hello, my favorite Fulton. Yo, what's up? What's up? How you guys doing? How you doing, Oatmeal? Lore really builds up without having semi-lore, which is canon, but randomly in the middle of a stream. Yeah. It's hard. It's a lot of fun though. Whenever you have moments like that, SMP Live, like I said, had little lore elements. I wouldn't go as far as saying that it's lore, but I would say that it is at least, I don't know. I don't know. But no, to go back to what I was saying though about like Dream SMP and Origin and stuff like that, desperation. I think a lot of those streamers have desperation. Desperation for their jobs, desperation for a concept, desperation to continue doing something. And it's something I really do truly admire because, like I said, I love my job. I desperately love my job. And it's something that if I was ever handed an opportunity to do something like, Origin or whatever, I would take it. Same with, the Sly situation. And and taking that opportunity and taking, other ones that I think, wow, I'm an idiot. Taking other ones that I think really gave me either a push, either in numbers or a push in understanding what I wanted to do. And to the people who've given me those opportunities, I'm forever grateful. Because I think every step along the way is a step to figuring out who you are and kind of doing the things that you want to do. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I sound too sentimental explaining this. And maybe it's not exactly as coherent as it could be. But I think that's kind of where I am. I think that's kind of where I've always been. With a lot of these conversations, I don't know. It's interesting. I am so happy for the people that get to do that type of thing. I'm very jealous of the people who get to do that type of thing. Jealousy is a gross color, but I'd rather admit it. I'd rather admit it and keep myself honest. I'm very jealous of the people who get to do that because I think that it is something that is so fucking neat and is conceptually so cool. But is also just scary to ask to be a part of, which is interesting. It's so fucking interesting. It's interesting because especially considering you consider people friends, but you never want to come across like you're just using a person or whatever the fuck. When I think in this industry, that happens way more often than you'd ever see admitted. I think people, and it's funny because using people isn't even a bad thing. It's like. And I think you know what I mean when I say that. Using people is inherently bad. Rai guy, thank you so much for the sub. Also, I think that's the first sub of the stream. We need to run an ad. We desperately need to run an ad. We're gonna run an ad. Thank you so much, Rai guy. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's very interesting. I have nothing but the utmost respect for I think the people who do what they do. And I think when you look at servers like Dream SMP or Epic SMP, you kind of have to draw conclusions, or not conclusions, but comparisons, and see why something didn't work or see whatever, or and it's funny because I remember Epic SMP, I from what I remember, they said it was going to be better than Dream SMP, and I think that's one, a very impossibly high bar, but also just, again, impossible if nobody is desperate enough. It's interesting. I'm really sorry for talking about this for so long, but I think it's also just a reflection point. Especially just considering that Epic SMP is done. So I think it's an interesting topic, especially for consideration tonight, because it was going to be brought up anyway. Somebody was going to ask. Somebody was going to bring it up. So, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I think that a lot of these it's kind of unfortunate. I think it's kind of unfortunate because I think SMPs have left such a bad taste in people's mouth that if I were to go down my friends list with people that like were a part of SMP Live, right? Hypothetically. If I were to go down the list and be like, "Hey, I'm curious. You know, would you be interested in doing blank?" I feel like a lot of people would say no. And I think it's fucked. I think it's fucked because, you know, I think a lot of those people want to. But I also know that I've been invited to SMPs and I've turned it down. Because one, there's literally zero, you know, proven benefit, especially in a job like this. Nobody wants to put forth the time or the effort to fucking to say, yeah, I'll do this when there's no discernible positive outcome. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. And like I said, I think if people had a level of desperation, they would feel more inclined to say yeah and to do something. But I don't think Epic SMP ever had that. But having said that, I don't think Epic SMP ever had that. Well, I think it had that for some people. I felt desperate. In the beginning, I felt desperate. Rav felt desperate. Even though he might not say it, I think you can kind of read that in the people who stream it no matter what. You know, so I think there is like a level of like clear cut. This is like these people would do anything to find some level of success or pushing or whatever. I don't know. It's really interesting. It's really fucking interesting. I have so much respect for all the people who do that type of shit and take it seriously, and I will never ever ever be able to you know, I'll never ever be able to like talk shit on those people who do it. I don't think I ever could. I don't think you could ever catch me talking shit on Origin SMP or Dream SMP or whatever the fuck, unless I ended up basically finding out that I think the only way that you would ever see me talking massively negatively about it is just in the idea that if people's opinions weren't considered on more. And I think that's the only situation in which I would have a thing to say. And I don't know inherently why that is. I don't know if it's inherently I don't know. I don't know. It's all I know is that I respect, I think, those people more than I could possibly ever let on. Weird conversation. Sorry for repeating myself. It's a classic Michael trope, but I also think that this is a conversation that kind of unfortunately just loops back into itself constantly over and over and over. Because, you know, there are so many servers that continue to do the exact same thing over and over and over with the exact same problems over and over and over. I think SMP Live died because there was no furthering of SMP Live. SMP Live, unfortunate. It's SMP Live's fucking curse, frankly, and you know, it sucks to say this, was the fact that Carson didn't want to fucking change anything. And that's not a fucking secret. It's the worst kept secret of all time. He didn't want to do a season 2. I think his exact words on it was it would be that we were if we did a season 2, we would be we'd be like cashing in or whatever the fuck it was. Like we'd be like well, not cashing in. We'd be selling out. That was what it was. We'd be selling out if we did a season 2, and then you know, Schlatt wanted a season 2 or at least a map reset. It never happened. You know, it's just. It's just crazy, man. It's just fucking crazy. The only thing that could have saved SMP Live was if there was a Minecraft update and a server was updated along with it. No, that's not even true. No, that's literally not even true. If all it fucking would have taken was a season 2. Seriously. And I'm talking a season 2 like in fucking like right after TwitchCon. To repeat what I said earlier, SMPs are either playgrounds of friends where many people are on at a time, or a stage empty until the show starts, and long form SMPs tend towards the latter. The problem with it was and SMP Live had the perfect fucking thing, man. SMP Live's fix to that was if you're playing, you have to be live. And I think that was why it did so fucking well. I think that's why it did so fucking well. And you know, like I am for role play, and I'm for role play, and I'm completely for the idea of a lore based story and shit. You know, like I've got ideas for concepts, and I've got concepts completely written down in pre-planning because I always try to come up with ideas and things like that. I've got like 6 different server concepts because I think that those server concepts are cool. But if the problem with it is that if you write a story, then you have to get everybody to that point, and I think that's the problem. So I think the reason like Dream SMP, at least from the outside, you know, obviously I'm not in it, you know, so I don't know, and you know, if Dream was here, he could fucking correct me or tell me I was wrong or whatever. But you know, it seems to be, at least slightly, that Dream SMP doesn't necessarily require every single person to be at a certain point. Not everybody has to be at a certain point story-wise for something to happen. Slightly sometimes, but not always. It's not like a hero's journey type of situation. And I think that the hero's journey is such an interesting storytelling device, and a vehicle for storytelling that, like, pairing it with Minecraft could do wondrous fucking things. But the problem with, I think, that is that when you get to like when you get to the point where you're just adding people to an SMP and everybody's fucking story has to be written like a fucking wheel, I don't know. That's weird. I think I make fun of the Dream SMP too much because of the community, but I bet if I gave it a chance, I'd like it. Yeah, probably. I think it's really interesting. I don't think, and I think the other thing with it is I don't think the community is even bad, man. The community is just like any other fucking Minecraft, big Minecraft YouTuber community. It's literally the exact same. There's no fucking big Minecrafter who doesn't have a shitty community, or at least sides of a shitty community. Carson's audience was a fucking example of just like seemingly incel incarnates, and then also just, you know, slightly fucking too edgy and shit like that. And then other people tended to be just straight up hateful and, you know, whatever. And Schlatt's audience, you know, has always kind of demanded of seeing Schlatt and everything, or they don't care, you know, and that's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? It's whatever. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's, you know, and I really hope I'm not coming across as shit talky or anything like that, because like I said, I consider almost all these people friends, and if not friends, acquaintances, and I appreciate every single connection I've ever had with these people, because I think that these connections have like infinitely furthered what I've done and what I've been able to do, and I would never take that for granted. So I think it's interesting. I just think it's such an interesting I think it's super interesting. I would like to see more SMPs take the Mionite approach, a BTS crew acting as a D&D dungeon master, and a handful of creators with a cohesive story. Yeah, I have ideas. I have ideas. And it's shit that, you know, that I've been thinking about for a minute, and it's shit that I've been really like looking at and taking seriously, but it's things that I think the problem with it is that, especially having been looking at it a little bit more recently, the people who are playing on it kind of have to act as the dungeon masters at all times. At all times. By the way, I don't think I've weirdly said it this entire stream. Guys, if you haven't, please consider subscribing. It helps out a ton. This has been a weird month on Twitch, and I think it would really help out a ton. So if you guys would not mind, please consider supporting. If you have Twitch Prime, you can connect it to your Amazon account, and you can get a free Twitch Prime sub, and it helps out a lot. And yeah, so please consider subscribing. I have not entirely seen it. No, I have not. But yeah, consider subscribing. Sorry, I'm saying it a lot, but yeah. but yeah, I think the biggest problem with those concepts that you're talking about, those like dungeon master type concepts, is that essentially you have to get everybody involved, and then on top of getting everybody involved, you also have to get people fully like ready, and it's just hard, man. It's really fucking hard. There's no easy way to what the fuck are these things called? What am I doing wrong? Smoker. Okay. Oh God, what did I do? Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I think that conceptually Minecraft has so many open doors, and nobody knows entirely how to utilize them because, frankly, they're scared to utilize them because, the people who have utilized them before them tend to do such fucking like. They tend to just fuck up in the most insane ways, and it seems scary to like even try to do shit. It's really weird and it's strange, and I think it's unfortunate because yeah, people like that type of shit, and if it was handled correctly, it would do so well. And I don't think I'm any authority on handling things correctly. I think I have fucked up more times than most. But I also just kind of think that I've seen enough servers like hit the wayside that I would kind of hope that people would figure out how it's done. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Sorry, everybody. I am just literally rambling tonight, and I know I sound like sad, which I'm not attempting to sound that way. I think I've just been thinking a ton about, I think, longevity in general. I think because again, I think that I have to kind of think that way a little bit. Because if I don't, I'll fall to the wayside, and I don't want to fall to the wayside. I'm desperate for this job. It's interesting. It's a really fucking weird conversation to have. Yeah. I'd argue something that goes the way of Terraria has a better chance of being the future of SMPs. I disagree with you entirely. That's actually really funny. I disagree with you entirely because I think that Terraria as a concept does not have enough room for a bunch of people. I think what has the real potential is Mionite. Or not Mionite, I'm sorry, Hypixel. Or Hytale. Hytale. Oh. Chat, give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Ugh. I think Hytale is going to be such an interesting case study for Minecraft when it comes out, because I think that, from my understanding, they are like coding it to be Minecraft but more. Ugh. But I wonder if it'll be that good that people switch to Hytale instead of Minecraft. No, never. Never. Never, never, never. Minecraft just has too big of an install base. I wouldn't say that it's stupid to think that, but I would definitely say that it's unwise to think that. Because, no. Minecraft's install base is just quite literally too fucking big. We're just furnacing. That's what we're doing right now, chat. If they ever get Hytale out to the public, I mean, they will eventually. No, eventually they will. I frankly don't think that Hytale will live up to the hype. I think it'll be a 1 month thing at most. I kind of disagree with you. I think a lot of people will feel that way. But I think Hytale, from what I am aware of it, I think that Hytale has... From what I have heard, Hytale kind of already lives up to not expectation, but not expectation, but it lives up to like what the fuck it kind of has said that it is, in a weird way. Not the hype, but it is what it says it is. It is it undeniably. It is like, yeah, this is what it does. This is how it does it. This is how we do it. Yada, yada, yada. This is why it does what it does. Like, it's that type of thing. It's like, oh, you know, while it can, like, it just does what it's supposed to do. Which I think if it's a game, I think that's... Yeah, it's true to itself. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it just does what it's supposed to. Is accurate. Yeah, I don't know how to word it any other than that, unfortunately. It is very much a it is what it is game, from what I've heard. that still scares me. It's gonna be the next Cube World. I don't think that, because I think if you're thinking it's gonna be the next Cube World, you're entirely like misdirected, because Cube World fucking came out way too early. Cube World came out way too fucking early. Cube World was like, hey, here's a game that that we made. Thanks for the money. We're gonna fucking take off and run. And then out of nowhere, he's like, hey, here's an update. And from what I heard from everybody who played it, it was lackluster, which is sad. You know what I mean? That game wasn't updated for like fucking 10 years. Not literally, but probably fucking close. You know what I mean? Probably 6 years, 7 years. And then all of a sudden I had an update. And everybody was like, what the fuck? You know, okay, that's cool. That's neat. I can't wait to play it. Oh, it sucks. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but whatever. I don't know how the fuck Cube World got to the point that it did, but it did, and that's disappointing. It's not that Cube World like fucking failed. It was that Cube World just didn't deliver at all. Like, I don't think it failed. I just don't think it, I don't know. It's weird. Sounds like Hytale could be in the same spot when it comes to the hype like Ashes of Creation as currently with the MMO game. I don't know what that is. What was I building? Oh, an axe. But I think Hytale is like playing it very safe though. Because they could easily be like, "Hey guys, here's the game 6 months too early," and then it would just ruin the taste in everybody's mouth. But instead, they're like, you know what? What if we don't shoot ourselves in the fucking foot? What if we like actually make a game and then like actually release it? And that's kind of refreshing in the world of like, rush it to product, like, you know, like I'm kind of way into that idea that Hypixel hasn't fucking like just put it out immediately. Cause they could have easily just been like, hey, here's a beta. Give it a shot. Play the game for us. Tell us what you fucking think about it. And instead, they're kind of like, you know what? Fuck the public. Fuck them. We're going to make a game, and then we're going to fucking ask for criticism. And I feel like that's kind of the right way to do it, man. Because, like, you have your vision. Make your vision. Do what you want to do. Be you unapologetically. Where'd he go? Oh. Be you unapologetically. And then put out your fucking game. I don't think it would ever be a... Yeah, thank God it's not an early access survival game. Yeah, exactly. Like, thank God it's not a Minecraft situation. Because then we'd just be fucking waiting like months and months and months early on criticisms might make it so the game gets changed drastically, or if they're fucking smart enough, they'll just not ignore it, but they'll fucking stand their ground and be like, no, this is the game we wanted to make. Like that would be like somebody coming into my stream and being like, hey dude, you suck dick, but I would watch you if. Like, no, get the fuck out. I suck dick. Don't watch me. Shut the fuck up. Get out. Bye. Like, I'm not gonna change everything for one fucking person. And if it's not true to, like, what I want to do, then I'm not gonna change it for anybody. Which might sound harsh, but it's also just the truth. Yeah, it seems that, yeah, exactly that. They have an actual vision, so they don't need to tell us, to tell them what their game should be. Yes. The speedrun seems pretty slow. Fuck. I don't need that emerald. Yeah, that's something kind of I'm curious about. When would be the good time to start play testing a game heavily? Well, that's the thing, man. It just depends on when you're trying to, or what your game is supposed to be. You know, who knows? Maybe Hytale isn't a fucking game that gets updated. Maybe Hytale is just a game. You know what I mean? Like, I know they've said to the contrary. But I don't know. Michael, I don't know who you are, and I've been here for like 3 minutes, but I like your voice, and you seem epic. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate it a lot. By the way, guys, if you haven't, please consider subscribing. We're going to be running an ad here in a minute because it is our scheduled time to run an ad. Any support that the channel gets directly helps out. This is my job. I do it pretty much every single day when Comcast isn't fucking me in the ass, which it seems that they've been doing all night. Any support genuinely does help out. If you have Amazon Prime, consider linking that to your Twitch account, and then you can get a free sub with Prime Gaming. You get 26 awesome emotes. It directly supports me. It helps out way more than you think. Yeah, please consider subscribing. I was going to do a subathon this month, but sucks, man. Comcast sucks. I'm trying not to bring up the game I think the public has unfairly massacred. Bring it up. Please, I'm curious. I feel like you're going to say, I feel like I know it. You're going to say, what was it? The No Man's Sky or whatever the fuck it was. Not No Man's Sky? Well, then what is it? Cyberpunk? Balan Wonderland? Jesus Christ. I don't think it's entirely undeserved. I'm going to be honest. I'm sorry. I I have not entirely played it, but from what I have seen of it, from what I've seen of it, it seems to kind of deserve a little bit of its criticism. I'll say that people went too hard on it, but it seems like it is deserving of its criticism that it got. What game? Balan Wonderland. What's the game about? From my understanding, it's a platforming game that's supposed to be not like Odyssey, but like, how do I fucking word what I'm trying to word here? Fuck it. I'm going to Google it because the game was released a year prior to what the scheduled release date was. All the buttons do the same thing. The level design is horrible. The game in-game graphics look like shit, and it's just not fun. What I'm getting at is I feel like people keep comparing it to other things and saying that it's bad because it's not like those other things. It's more like a Lego game as a 3D platformer. Yeah, but to counterpoint that, you just did what you are mad about, but you did it in a defensive state. So you just said that, you know, people criticize the game by pointing at another thing and saying this is what it is or should be like, but then you point at another game and you're like, no, it's more like this one. So like, I feel like it's kind of like a pot calling the kettle black situation, only slightly. Not in like a way that I think you're wrong, but I think it's a but I think it's like such an obvious like like, how do I word what I'm trying to say? It feels like a double standard because I think you appreciate it, right? Like, I'm trying to find my best words. They took it down because it wasn't entirely representative of the final product. Then that's not a good fucking thing though, man. Like, that's not a, like, when your demo isn't representative of what your product is, then I think that's like almost a level of not false advertisement, but I don't know. Why is the game good? You can't just blindly defend the game if you aren't saying why it's good. I don't think Shills is blindly defending it. I think that's I don't think that's it at all. I don't think he's blindly defending it. I don't think, and also no, that's bullshit. Sorry, that's kind of bullshit. You can say that a game is good. You can say that a game is good without having to give an infinite amount of reasons. Pong is one of the earliest video games that you can play at home, and it's been ported to like a billion different types of consoles and a billion different iterations. People still play Pong, right? It's literally a dot on a screen in 2 lines. It's good. Why is it good? It's fun. Why is it fun? Because dot go burr. Like, you don't have to fucking have a reason always. it's fun is often a good reason. I'm not trying to say that as good or bad because I'm comparing it to another thing. I'm just trying to give the closest description I can of how it plays. I think that when you get into like games and how they are supposed to like essentially live out, you get to this like problem where a game is either really fucking good and it's just universally loved, and because it's universally loved, it's equally hated. You know what I mean? And then you get to the point where like Balan Wonderland. I think that Balan Wonderland, from my understanding, has deserved a little bit of its criticism because it's, and again, I haven't played it. From what I've seen of the reviews, which obviously it didn't catch my interest for very much, so I'm probably not the greatest authority to speak on it. My annoyance comes from people who are like, why can't I fly as Balan like I could in Knights? These people made Knights, right? Obviously that's stupid, right? But also in the trailer, doesn't he like fucking fly? I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to say that I would ever defend that ideology of like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I feel like that would be like making a fucking I feel like that would be like making a Spyro game, but Spyro can't fly. Or like, I don't know. So random, but you would be perfect on a podcast. Rough House Podcast. I do it almost every week. I've been busy these last few, so I haven't played Knights, but wasn't the game presented as a spiritual successor? Yes, it was. Yes. It's created by Yuji Naka. It's funny though because I've heard that he, from what I remember, the game is all about like, the game does like the hero's journey storyline, which is what I was mentioning earlier. It's really funny. From what I've. Can we talk about spoilers? I'd rather not. Don't ruin somebody else's playthrough. So no, sorry. Man. By the way, guys, consider subscribing. Also, we're gonna run an ad. You hyped for the new FNAF? I don't like FNAF. I'm too much of a pussy. I'll admit it. So no, not really. I'm excited for the people who are excited, but I'm not not into it. I'm excited for those who are excited, but I'm not excited in and of itself. No. I want a place to build a house, man. What do you think about the huge amount of video game movies that are set to release in the next few years? I don't care. Movies are movies. If directors know what the fuck they're doing, it'll be good. If not, it'll just be in the bargain bin shortly thereafter. I think Sonic was like as decent as a video game movie could possibly get. I say decent loosely. I'm hoping Mario does something good. Mortal Kombat, I don't know shit about. I've heard some reviewers say it's like fucking excellent, and then I've heard other people say that it's like washed out. I'm interested in seeing it. I hate Twitch's way of handling ads. Why? There's the Minecraft one, the Mario one, the second movie one, the FNAF one. FNAF is probably... Mortal Kombat movie was pretty good. My stepdad and I watched it earlier today. Yeah, I want to watch it. Don't spoil anything. Mario one, it's whatever. It's whatever. I'm not super excited for the Mario one just because if I put my expectations too high, I'm gonna be let down. The FNAF movie, that movie has been in production for so fucking long. I will believe it when I see it, but until then, it doesn't exist. The Minecraft movie is in the exact same boat. I don't believe the Minecraft movie is fucking coming out. They have literally swapped directors 5 times. I just cannot fucking believe it at all. Like, I don't fucking believe the Minecraft one at all. They started filming FNAF. Did they? Did they actually start filming FNAF? If they did, good on them. If they didn't, I'll believe it when I see it. The FNAF one, I still think is a believe it when I see it though type thing. I'll be honest. I can see the FNAF movie concept just not fucking working. Like, it's really unfortunate to say that, but I can just see the FNAF movie just not working. I can see it being such a shitter of a movie concept that it just doesn't lend itself to being good in the slightest. I really hope I'm wrong. Because it seems to be the only, like, video game movie with a chance, but I also just fucking think I know how video game movies are done, and I can't really name many great video game, like, horror movies. Because, like, how many Resident Evil fucking movies did they try to make? Wasn't it, like, 2 or whatever the fuck? Apparently the FNAF movie took so long to come out because Scott wanted a good script. I mean, it would shock me if Scott didn't already, like... It's weird. That's kind of why I like, have slight issue with it, I think. Because FNAF immediately lends itself to a good concept. But the problem with it is that the FNAF movie has to go one of two ways. It has to go the way of of, hey, let's make this a movie so that everybody knows what's going on from the beginning. So everybody in the theater is just watching a fucking retelling of the games that they've already played, which I don't think a lot of people want to see. Like, I'll just be honest. I don't think a lot of people want to see that. I don't think a lot of people want to, like, be lugged in for that ride when, like, there's just clearly better shit that they could watch with that time. And maybe that's just me. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the reason, like, if I may, I feel like the reason that the Marvel shit has been doing so well recently, is that it's not all like retellings. You know, it's genuinely this really fucking interesting, like, they're not retellings. They are, they're redesigns. And I think that's such a fucking cool concept, like, with Marvel, because, like, we know these fucking characters. Like if you're like a fan of Marvel, you know who Bucky is, or you know who Falcon is, or whatever. And then they start to tell, and I don't think it's so much of a fucking secret. But and I'm not spoiling anything, so don't worry. To the people who are freaking the fuck out right now, like, Michael's about to spoil this show for me. I'm not. It doesn't take a fucking genius to realize Marvel is just telling their own story. And I that's fine. Damn, he knocked me, like, in the lava. But I don't think it takes much of a fucking, like, genius to realize that Marvel is, like, telling a version of a story, right? And I think that that's really fascinating, because we know these characters. We know them, like, we know a lot of these characters by heart. We know a lot of these characters better than our family members, which is, like, an insane thing to think about, but it's true. Yo, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope that your stream went well. How do I say your name? Spark? Spark? It looks like Spark. Yeah, hell yeah. By the way, guys, consider subscribing. Chat, I would sincerely appreciate it. I know there's a lot of people here tonight that are new. And if you haven't subscribed, it would mean the world to me. So consider subscribing. It genuinely does help out more than you would realize. So please consider. Okay, let's light this up. Okay. I think that the FNAF movie has got to do something very different from the games. It can't be about a security guard in a little room for 5 nights. That's not true. What the fuck? That's not true in the slightest, man. Some of the best fucking horror movies I finished my best art ever, and I want to tweet it, but it's fucking 1 a.m. Yo, send me it. I want to see. That's not true, man. Some of the best fucking horror movies take place like all in one room. Like all in one room. Some of like the best thrillers, anyway. Or like all in one house, or like whatever the fuck. What the fuck? That's wild. That's crazy. That's really good. Holy shit. Yeah, I think that'd feel like a retelling, though. In what way? Saw? Yeah. Literally. Like, Saw's a fucking great example. A lot of those Saw movies literally just take place in, like, one fucking room for, like, 2 hours straight. There was that movie that was, like... There was that, like, movie that was... Who did it have? Did it have Ryan Reynolds? It wasn't a great movie, but it was the one where he's like underground for like an entire movie. Like the movie takes place in a coffin, like an entire fucking coffin or whatever. I feel like we have to have something different, which is why I think the Michael script, the one Scott said they're going with, is perfect. Again, I wouldn't say I don't know enough. Like I know a little bit about FNAF to like have a conversation about it. Michael Afton is I guess an interesting enough character if they really wanted to go that way with it. That I don't think bitch about it. But on the same side of it, I don't think I would expect it to be a good movie if that's entirely the case, because for the FNAF movie to be good enough to like random ass people, they have to know, or they have to be able to give a shit about a character. And if we don't know who the fuck it is, then that's unfortunate. Like my mom and dad love horror, right? Like my mom and dad love horror, and if it's a well enough reviewed movie, I'm certain that they'll go and see it. But if they have to have fucking played the games before to like enjoy it, then that's just a really fucking bad design for a movie. Gotta go. Have a good day. Yo, have a wonderful day. Hope you're doing well. It just feels like a good story for a horror movie for me. Yeah, but like you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because if I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's, if I hear they're making a movie, that might be the thing to get me into the franchise and the games and shit. So I'm going to go and see the fucking movie. It shouldn't have to be I would hope that it shouldn't have to be I have to know what's going on before I can watch the movie type situation. Because I think enough dumbass people are going to go to the movies like, yo, this is going to be cool. And then I'm definitely interested in it. But if the games are a necessity, then it's really bad movie design. Like that would just be a terrible storytelling thing. That'd be fucking terrible. Like Marvel has, I think Marvel has found that exact balance so fucking well. Like you do not need to watch every single Marvel movie to know what the fuck is going on. Thank God. You know what I mean? Like they have dumbed it down so hard, which I think 90% of people appreciate. Jesus. Have you watched Falcon? I have. I am refusing to talk about it online now because I just don't want to ruin anybody else's experience. Yes, I have watched it in its entirety. I think it's good. That's all I will say. That is literally as far as I will go in that conversation. I will not go past the words, it is a good show. That's all I'll say. Yeah. Good show. Good show. Liking what Marvel's doing. That's all I can say. I hear the directors call it a 6-hour movie. I mean, yeah, but on the same side of things, I don't know. It's weird, man. I feel like some of that's like slightly like pretentious, but yeah, I guess. Like it is a show, but I don't know. It's a show. It is a fucking great show. Yeah. I would I want to be honest. I want to be honest. I would really like it if we didn't talk about the show though, because it is so new and I know how the fucking internet works and somebody's going to say something too much and then somebody's experience is going to be ruined. So I would, if we can, I'd really like to just stop talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. WandaVision is, I think, slightly old enough now that we could talk about it a little bit, but I would rather not because I know that like Nora, there's people who haven't watched it, so I'd rather us not. I feel like Marvel movies are kind of an event thing, and there's part of me that's like, all right, man, you got to watch it. You know what I mean? Like you got to finally like catch up to everybody. But like, it's hard because I know some people just don't have the time to like watch shit, so I wouldn't want to like demand that a person have enough time to watch it. The only way that I would do it is if we talked about the only way that I'd ever have a conversation about this show is if we did shit. I want to look at the U.S. Agent comic. Yeah, hey, let's stop talking about it, please. Sorry, please. I just said let's stop. Please, for the love of fuck. That is exactly what I mean. Let's stop. It's real hard to have patience. Jesus, man. Marvel has a lot of their game plan as far as movies are, in terms of shows and movies. Yeah. Okay. 3 art pieces? Fuck yeah. Why not have torches? You know what? Let's not go down there right now. Let's make a house. Okay. Okay. No, sorry if I seem like too much of a sourpuss about Marvel stuff. I just don't want to ruin somebody's experience. That's all. What the fuck? Okay, bye. What are some games that you are excited for? It's hard, man. Like, if I'm being honest, not much. I wish that wasn't the case, but not much. I haven't been like overtly excited for games. There's just not much that I'm really like, "Oh, I have to play this, you know. Like that's just not been a thing for me for a minute. I wish it wasn't, but it just seems to be that it just kind of seems that there's like, I don't know, it's weird, man. For a fucking gamer who like does this as a job, you'd expect me to have like a long list, right? But like, nah. I got a few games, but like not enough to I think like have a conversation about it fully. I want to try out that Batman game. Or not Batman. The Suicide Squad one. But something about its I heard it was a different type of game than it like looks, which kind of concerns me a little bit. A little bit. It's like not the genre that you would expect that game to be. It's not like it's weird. I don't know. Golf Story's getting a sequel. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not inherently like excited for any games right now. There's like a few things, I guess, but nothing that I would be like just dying to get my hands on. Is that close enough to start a fire? I think that is. Ooh. Oh my God. Okay. I think this is fine. Because it's like a 3-block gap. I think that's fine. I'm hoping E3 shows some stuff this year. Yeah, it'll be cool. I don't imagine E3 is going to be great this year, though, unfortunately. Like, just, like, speaking from, like, the realist perspective, I just do not see E3 being, like, a smash fucking hit. Which I think everybody wants it to be, but I don't think it's going to be. I think E3 is gonna like kind of just be a little shitty, unfortunately. No, I'm not happy about a game just for $60 controls. What? I really want to play Skyward Sword on the Switch. I don't. I mean, okay. Like, okay. But you're kidding yourself if you thought that. I don't. God, dude, I don't want to like. I sound like such a dick, but like, you're kidding yourself if you thought fucking. You're kidding yourself if you thought fucking Skyward Sword was great on Wii. I'm sorry. You're kidding yourself. Like, Skyward Sword, good game. Good game on Wii? No. Like, I haven't had a way to play Skyward Sword in over 5 years. It's my favorite Zelda game. Let me have this one. Yeah, exactly. And I by the way, me saying that it wasn't a good game on Wii, I'm not shitting on the game itself. I'm shitting on the fact that that game was kind of so fucking revolutionary. It was lackluster on the console because it just wasn't. It was just literally too advanced. Paying for a better control method will totally help that game out. Should it be $60 though? No, I'll be honest. You know, that it shouldn't be. But It also should not be $60, especially due to the fact that it was on the fucking Wii. The literal, like, one of the best-selling Nintendo consoles of all time. I think that's insane to me. They can afford to take a $10 loss on that game, but they won't. Nintendo has to lower the prices of their games. No, they don't. No, fuck that. No, they don't. That's bullshit. I don't think that's right at all. I don't think that's right at all. I don't think Nintendo has to lower anything if of their ports. I mean, if we're talking ports, maybe. If we're talking ports, maybe. Nope again. No, I have two opinions on that. Nintendo has been fairly lazy in a lot of fucking ways. What's it called was lazy as fuck. The Mario the Mario 3D All-Stars one. That was kind of fucking lazy. So fucking lazy, in fact, that the GameCube controls just were straight up ripped from it. Even though the Switch lets you play with a fucking GameCube controller. That's stupid. That's stupid. That's fucking genuinely stupid. They, like, and I appreciate them making a new control method, but also it's pretty fucking stupid that they just didn't go the extra mile. And now, admittedly, I don't remember if they added them, but the fact that they weren't there is enough to criticize Nintendo on at least that idea. They ended up adding it. Okay, so that's fine. So good on them for doing that. 3D All-Stars is just a mess. I don't think it's a mess per se. I think it's fine. It's just that it was slightly lazier as a concept. I bought it not once, but twice. I bought the fucking thing twice, physical, both times. It's okay, fully like GameCube. The fuck yeah, then. If they fix that, then that is one of my biggest criticisms fixed. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, good shit. But it plays fully like GameCube. Then good shit. But I don't think that, like, Nintendo is entirely, like, fixed just because they did that. You know what I mean? Like, Nintendo makes some weird fucking choices and whatnot. Nintendo is a multi-billion-dollar company. They are only overpricing ports because they can. They do not need it. Okay, you can say this for every company. Yeah, and they should. A remake is one thing. No. Ports are okay. Here's the fucking problem. Okay, here's the problem. What the fuck? Why is the first off? Why did that happen? And then second of all, why is it aimed at the ceiling? Hi. Here's the problem. Ports are completely fucking fine. You have ports and they release ports all the time. Ports are a great way to get people to play games that, one, people should play. These are great fucking games. But is this worth $60? Is this worth $60? I don't know. I don't inherently know. I think that this game immediately, one of my biggest fucking gripes with it was seeing how little they gave a fuck when it came to Sunshine's cutscenes. Literally just zooming in and shit like that. When they could have easily taken a minute to not zoom them the fuck in. and just keep them in 4x3. It would have been a little jarring, but it would have been preferred. You know what I mean? It would have been preferred to have those cutscenes in 4x3 and then put them in and yada, yada, yada. It would have looked better. It was just one of those things that they clearly didn't give much of a fuck about whenever they were doing that. The game is ready. Porting it is not a thing that requires that much effort, especially comparing it to a remake. I want to stop you. You're fully wrong there. Porting oftentimes is actually much harder than just remaking a game from scratch. Remaking a game from scratch can be as easy as simply using what you've already created for, let's say Odyssey, right? Let's say Odyssey. Odyssey is a great example of a Mario game that is on the Nintendo Switch. It's one of the best Mario games on the Nintendo Switch. I would argue it is the best Mario game on the Nintendo Switch. There's a lot of Mario games on the Nintendo Switch, but it is one of the quintessential Mario games. In and of itself, it is a perfect fucking game. If they wanted to remake Nintendo 64, Mario 64 on Nintendo Switch, the way they'd probably do it is by going in with the Odyssey engine, tweaking it slightly to, match what we would expect as a remake and go from there. But porting that game over and yeah, porting this game over, this has been ported to a billion different consoles. This one, 64, I'm going to fucking say right out the gate, if they were to release this game on the Nintendo Switch alone in the way that they released it for Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I would not pay more than $5. I would not pay more than $5. Why? Because I have purchased this game to all fucking hell. I have purchased it not only on the fucking Nintendo 64, but also on the Wii, also on the fucking Wii U, and then I'm almost certain I even had a Nintendo GameCube disc with it, right? So I would not pay more than $5 for that game. $5 for that fucking game. I just wouldn't. I just would not. You wouldn't catch me doing it. Mario Sunshine, though. Mario Sunshine, I feel a little different about because they added to Mario Sunshine. Now, but they also took away shit from Mario Sunshine. As much shit as I love to give Mario Sunshine's remake, or not remake, but re-release, which my biggest criticism was that the GameCube controller support was completely missing, and apparently that's fixed. So I've already lost my footing. I've already lost my footing. So if anything, this is the way to play this game, aside from cutscenes. If you're talking pure gameplay, play it on this. You don't need the GameCube anymore. That's fine. Galaxy, I've heard, is decent enough. I played it for a little while, not enough to have an opinion on it. And that is, I'll say that. I did not play Galaxy enough to have an opinion on it. But I will say that I think as far as this goes, ideally I would have paid $40. 20, 25, throw the fucking 64. Throw in 64. Everybody's bought this game a billion fucking times. It's emulated the shit. Just fucking give us 64 for free. But paying $60 for it, whatever. My biggest gripe with this is that it was a limited release. I think that it was scummy as fuck of Nintendo to do that. It created artificial fucking artificial inflation of prices. There's a reason that this one is still in the wrap and it's not going to be for long. This is Ellen's copy. I bought this for her because I love these games and they're some of my favorite games of all time. And I wanted my girlfriend to have my favorite games of all time, it's interesting. Hold on, what are we talking about? Pokemon Red and Green literally had to be fully reprogrammed to translate it to English. Yes, they did. Hold on. Okay. The game is ready. Porting it is not a thing that requires that much effort, especially comparing it to a remake. It's not that easy. It's not. People see Mario 64 PC port and think it's the same for everything. Dang. Yeah. Especially in the case of base to Wii U to Switch. They also didn't adjust any of the button prompts, keeping all the game, keep going, yada, yada. But in this case, this wasn't even a fucking port. This is a remaster. It's a remaster. Yeah. Pokemon Red and Green literally had to be fully reprogrammed to translate it to English. Yes. I'm not bullshitting this. Yes. I've heard this. Mario 64 was $10 on the Wii U. As a programmer going into code that isn't yours to edit is fucking hell. Just make a ROM hack. Not to mention getting things to play nice with new engines, hardware, etc. Things have a lot more rules to play than okay, you run on the Switch now. Yeah, some games are harder than others to port, but remaking a game from the ground up with new assets, music, visuals, code is a lot more expensive than a port. That's not always accurate. I want to say, like, that's not always accurate. If I may, if I can, like, pause this conversation for like a few seconds, that's not always accurate. It's just not. There are countless, like, examples of people who have quite literally made games that play like N64 games for virtually fucking nothing, right? Because it's such like an archaic concept that if a person wanted to remake Nintendo 64 Super Mario, they could fucking do it. Also, as expensive as it is to make a game, it's also been proven time and time again that assets are easier to create now. That's just how the industry has progressed. We've gotten so fucking far in the industry where if you want to make something, you just make it. You know what I mean? It's not that it's that much harder to fucking come up with something. There are full fucking like engines that do hair physics because it's something that's so sought after. It's something that's so sought after that it is easier to create hair physics than it was fucking 10 years ago. And so in a lot of cases, if I wanted to, I could quite literally, make a ball and then put hair on top of it. And if I Googled it, I could figure it out probably within the hour. It would look bad, and if I took longer, I could properly get it going, but I could probably do it in an hour. You know, just knowing how this shit has progressed. And a lot of people in the industry will tell you that is entirely the fucking case. A lot of people will tell you that it's easier to create things than it was 10 years ago. And so when you get to the conversation of it's easier to make blank than this, that's not entirely true. Some games are so fucking like hard to recreate. Hold on. Hi, baby. Can we get you down there? Thank you. I mean, if they remade Mario 64 with N64 graphics from the ground up, it would be cheaper than making a full-on HD remake. I get that. Yes, and that's what I mean. Like getting to the point where we have these things that we can cross-reference and grab from and stuff like that, you can do so much shit. But I think the problem with it is when you start to equate a port to something that, you know, like, here's my final stance on I think exactly this. If a game came out on the Wii, okay? If a game came out on the Wii, it needs to be $30. It needs to be $30. If a game came out on the Wii U, they have the right to make it $60. Nobody bought that fucking console. Hardly anybody bought that console. It was an undescript failure. It was a failure of a fucking console. It literally lived and then died. That is what that console was created to die. Those games should be $60. They should be, because half of the people with a Switch never played those games. And unfortunately, and I hate this, I have to rebuy all these games because I'm one of these fuckers that not only had one Wii U, but I had two Wii U's. I had two fucking Wii U's. I had two game pads. I had 6 fucking controllers. I had 3 straps. I had 6 of the fucking the little dildo little motherfuckers. The coating that you put on the controller. I invested so much into that console. And unfortunately, being a Nintendo fan bit me on the ass when the Switch came out. I had to re-buy games. It sucks. And it did fucking suck. And guess what? I didn't want to fucking do it. I didn't want to have to re-buy games, but I fucking did it. And it sucks that that's the fucking case. It sucks. But here's where I think we also get into another area, the 3DS. If there's a game that's being ported from the 3DS over to the Nintendo Switch, I do fucking think that it should be $30. I do. I think that's shitty of me to say. I know it's more work bringing a game from the 3DS to the Switch. I don't give a fuck, though. That console sold so fucking well, and so did damn near every game on it, that I don't care. That I quite literally don't care. Nintendo can take that loss. That is where I do agree with that. Nintendo can take that loss. Because the 3DS did them so fucking well that if they were like, hey guys, we're gonna put what's it called on the Switch? The Legend of Zelda A Link Between Worlds. Is that the one where Hyrule and Low Rule? They're like, it's the one where you like go on the walls and shit like that. That one, $30 fucking dollars. I'm not paying $60 for that fucking game. I'm not paying $60 fucking dollars for that game. It's not happening. But I'd pay 30. I would pay 30 because I already bought that game once. I would never pay 60. Pokemon X and Y, 3DS Hell, they deserve better. I mean, that's every Pokemon game, though. Every Pokemon game is in 3DS Hell or DS Hell or Game Boy Hell or whatever the fuck. That's a terrible example. You're literally saying the handheld king was in handheld hell. Yeah, of course it fucking was. Like, of course it was fucking in handheld hell. These Monster Hunter generations got onto Switch. Yeah, but that's, again, they know their market there. They know what the fuck they're trying to do there. They know what needs to be where because they've tested this shit so fucking much. They know that Monster Hunter does well enough that, boom, it can be there. Port Fire Emblems, Fates, and Awakening to Switch. But that's the thing, though. I wouldn't pay more than 30 because it was on the fucking 3DS. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't pay more than 30. I wouldn't. And that's unfortunate, but I would not pay more than 30. But that's just me. But that's just me. I know my stance. I know where the fuck I'm at when it comes to buying games and things like that. And I think for a game that is a port from the Wii or the 3DS or the GameCube, it has to do a lot for me to pay $60. It has to do a lot for me to pay $60, and it definitely has to do a lot for me to buy it twice. I don't buy games twice. That doesn't happen. I buy games twice when I want to support something. And this wasn't a supporting thing. This was, unfortunately, Nintendo shoving their fists so far up my fucking ass that they were able to get me to walk over to the fucking counter and use me like a puppet and say, I'd like a copy of this game. That is how far they had their hand up my ass. it's bullshit. It's bullshit that that's the case. It's bullshit that that's how they fucking got me to buy a second copy of this game. It's fucking Nintendo. The cartridges don't cost shit. This isn't fucking limited edition. Let's be honest. But they got away with it. They got away with it. And I did what I didn't want to. I bought 2 copies. But I bought one for my girlfriend. So I consider it, I bought it as a gift. I would have never bought 2 copies other than that, though. But I think it's interesting. I think it's so fucking interesting on the conversation of ports versus, whatever. Because ports are inherently a problem in the gaming industry. They are inherently a problem. Skyrim is the biggest offender. Skyrim is easily the biggest offender that I think there could possibly ever be. And I think if you pay over $15 for fucking Skyrim, you are a dumbass. You are a genuine fucking dumbass. There is zero situation in which you should ever pay more than $15 fucking dollars for Skyrim. Buy it on the PS3, fucking go and fucking play it on that piece of shit. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Whatever. That's fine. But when you get to the point where like, oh man, I'm going to buy it for $60 again. That is stupid. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. And you know what? If you're the biggest Skyrim fan, maybe. Me, a person who played Skyrim to hell when it fucking came out, I don't remember how many hours I played. I know I beat the ever living fuck out of it. And it was a fun game. But I don't think you could get me to pay $60. I don't think you could get me to pay $60 for Skyrim. I don't. Skyrim, how much is Skyrim on Steam? That is bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. It is $40 fucking dollars on Steam. That is fucking bullshit. If you buy Skyrim for $40, you are a fucking idiot. Yeah, but that has everything. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what it has. I don't give a fuck what the fuck it has. All of that shit you could get for $10 when it came out. I don't care. Is there only one version of Skyrim on Steam? Did they just update Skyrim to that new version, like Skyrim HD? Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition, $49.99. Oh, that's even funnier. Skyrim 5 or Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim VR, $60. $60 fucking dollars to play it in VR. And if you have the main game, you don't get a discount. That's stupid. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. That's stupid. Do I still have Skyrim on PC? I feel like I have to. I feel like I have to have Skyrim on PC. Who the fuck doesn't have Skyrim on PC? I have the Skyrim creation kit. I don't have Skyrim. How the fuck does that even happen? I do have Skyrim. But I don't, wait, the version that I have, you can't even buy anymore? What? No fucking way. No way. I believe the special edition comes with the original. Nope. Nope. I don't have the special edition. Nope. I don't have the special edition. I have the old ass version. They want me to pay $40 to play the new version. They can fuck themselves. Unless once you update it, it just turns into that. But that's stupid. I would never. You would see me dead before I bought the special edition. Then you bought Skyrim when the special edition didn't exist? Yeah, I bought it 10 years ago. Yeah, damn straight. Damn fucking straight I bought the fucking... Exactly. Fucking exactly. Of course I fucking bought it before the special edition didn't exist. Because that's the fucking point of buying online games. Of course. And you know what? And hey, that's a version of porting I think is absolutely fucking stupid. That's a version of porting I just don't support. That's a version of porting that I think is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen because it wasn't a remake. It was just literally HD textures. It's the way to play. And then they make it to where you can't even buy the old one. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because if you had the original and all the DLCs for the standard edition on Steam, you got the special edition for free. Yeah, but so here's the thing though. This is what I'm trying to get at. This is exactly my fucking problem. This version isn't even fucking like, you can't even buy the version that I have anymore. So because you can't fucking buy the version that I have, you don't even get the choice. You, the consumer, don't even get the fucking choice. You're being told you have to fucking buy the special edition. That's the only fucking edition that you get. That's the only one that you get. That's the only one that you can buy. You have to buy the special edition. You need the link? Give it to me. I'm giving you permission. Send it in the chat. Send it in the chat. Prove it to me. Because the problem with it is we all fucking know Skyrim is worth $10 now. It's worth $10. It isn't worth $40 fucking dollars. It's not. Oh shit. How do I disable links? Hold on. Yeah, send it to a mod. Send it to a mod and then the mod can send it. Pick me! Pick me! Okay. Let me see. Okay. Stop spamming it, you fucks. I'm trying to copy paste it. Okay, store. And then paste link. Can I not paste links anymore? Is that not a thing you can do? Whatever. I'll do it on browser. View page. Okay. Yeah, okay. But it literally says right here, At the request of the publisher, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is currently unlisted on the Steam store and will not appear in the search. That literally means that they are hiding this from you, the fucking consumer. They're hiding it. That's crazy to me. They're trying to make it to where you don't even know that it fucking exists. And that's insane to me. Because if you, the fucking consumer, knew that a 15 version of Skyrim existed, and you didn't give a fuck about the fucking graphical updates, because let's face it, there are so many mods for Skyrim that you can do it yourself and they look better, then you would never, ever fucking buy the $40 version. You would never buy it. Ever. And it's crazy to me that anybody would. That's the type of porting that I just can't support. I cannot support it at all. And I refuse to, because I think that it's such a shitty metric for people. Because it's, I think it's so sad that when you get to that side of things, nobody in their right mind would spend $40 on Skyrim. Nobody. I don't give a fuck if they added God rays. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if they change the way the water looks. It's hardly a remaster. It's just upscaling graphics and changing lighting and things like that. Cool, you got paid to update a game. That's your fucking job. That's why you got hired. And the fact that they call it Special Edition and then hide the other one, I don't know. I'm curious if it says that I own this. It says, it doesn't say that I own it. But if I go over to Skyrim in my, what's it called? My Steam library. Hold on. I have 37 friends who have played Skyrim, as in the PC version of Skyrim. And then I have 31 friends who have the new version of Skyrim. And I would argue that probably half of my friends don't even know that this new version is the new version. Because I'm seeing virtually zero overlap in the two people who have it. Have you ever seen the side-by-side of 3DS native quality and then emulated? I think. Are you talking Simu? Is that what it's called? Simu? No? Or Citra. Is it Citra? Yeah, Citra. I've seen Citra. Send me a link to it. I want to watch it. Send me Oh. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I mean, man. Like, but if they did this, and then they just put this on the Switch, I wouldn't pay more than 30. I'm being honest. If they just emulated these games in a higher quality, I would not pay more than 30. I wouldn't pay more than $5 because it sucked. Trust me, I was not a fan of Sun and Moon either, but they're using shitty texture filtering effects. It's not just that they're doing that, it's just the resolution. It's the resolution. It's not the fucking effects. It's literally just a comparison of the models in a higher resolution space. The models are always, I think it's just the no lines mod. Yeah, but it's also just like yeah, these lines would be there if you see. I'm curious how this would look with lines. But in 4K. Yeah, it's impressive, but I wouldn't pay more than more than 30. This is what I mean when I say that the 3DS was super limiting. Oh, it was limiting. Yeah, nobody's arguing that. Yeah, it was one of the most limiting things. Like, it's probably one of the most limiting things that Nintendo ever produced. By the way, guys, consider subscribing. I would sincerely appreciate it. We're gonna run an ad. Yeah, I mean, this is super impressive. I mean, are there other versions of this? Or I'm trying to find a. Majora's Mask in 4K or 1080p. Chat's kind of silent. Chat's not silent at all. What? Majora Mask was really good considering it was on the 3DS. I mean, the original was on the N64, so I mean, there's not much. You're not going very far. You just have to do better than that. Oh God, this one's laggy. Swagger's moves in silence. What? Are you trying to tell me that a guy with 4,000 viewers' chat moves more than a guy's with 90s? No shit. Shush. Please don't tell me shush. Please don't tell me shush. God, this is laggy. They didn't change that logo at all? That's just the way that it was intended. That's fucking crazy to me. That's wild. I guess that's where that high-res Zelda one comes from all the time. I'm sorry, not saying shush to you. It's because I saw an Among Us emote. Oh, the shush emote. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Still though, yes, this is and if you're talking in comparison to Swagger, yes, this is a very quiet chat, but comparable to most, this is actually pretty active. I think this Mario one is extremely impressive. Yeah, this Mario one is super impressive. On the left, you can't even read those other two signs, the Mario Kart and the Overtake one. That's crazy. Yeah, this one looks wild. This one's cool. I'm saying these games are far more advanced than the hardware they were stuck on. Yeah, no one's arguing that. Yeah, I think it was pretty fucking obvious playing these games that they were more advanced. I don't think anybody fucking questioned that. I think people didn't realize how high quality the models were. I knew the Smash one was very impressive, though. Smash was extremely impressive. Yeah, I've seen this one a billion fucking times. This one I've seen 1,000 fucking times. Because people were saying that these were like essentially brawl models being ran on what's it called? $3DS. Yeah, that's fucking wild. Holy shit. And that's 4K. Yeah, that's fucking insane. Yeah, man, it's sad. It's sad that a lot of these games are stuck in this hell. The 3DS was extremely impressive, man. It was very impressive. It just... I remember seeing this on the 3DS. And being so shocked that this was a 3DS game. It's interesting. I remember seeing the trailers for this. Yeah. Yeah, it does suck. Like, I'm not gonna... See, and that's crazy, cause that's so upsetting. Cause if you look at this shot right here, if you look at this shot right here, it's such a beautiful shot. Like genuinely, it's a decent shot, and then you can't even tell that those are trees. Like, you can't even tell that those are trees. See, that's fucking wild. That's fucking crazy right there. See, I want to see this in Citra. That's fucking insane. That's cool. That's fucking wild right there. That's actually fucking crazy. This one on the right, I wouldn't release it as a modern game per se, but you could get away with this. The one on the right looks like it'd be a fun ass game. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, this is sad, man. It's like, it's not even, it's just kind of upsetting. Like, it's not even a, like, it's literally just upsetting. It's weird. Yeah, like this is, sometimes devs use limitations as part of their vision. Yeah, but this isn't like, but if you look at the one on the right, that's clearly not what happened here. This wasn't an artistic vision thing. Yeah, see, this one's fucking crazy. This one's insane. That's wild. Yeah, I want to see this in a bad quality. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, and those are dots on the speakers, but you would have never seen that. It just shows how forward thinking they were about a lot of things, but also weirdly how like clearly they weren't on the same fucking side. Because if they were really forward thinking, they would have invested in a higher capable handheld, which I guess that's what we're getting now. Because I mean the one on the right just straight up looks like the new. It just looks like the straight up new the new Luigi's Mansion game, but just a little less poly. Which I think is that polish. And I'm not shitting on, you know, the one on the left either. But the one on the right looks 10 times worse than the new one. Well, yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. I'm not saying the one on the right is I'm not saying the one on the right is like the perfect version of a Luigi's Mansion game. That's not what I said. I said the one on the right looks like the new Luigi's Mansion game, but less polygons. That's what I said. And I said that's Nintendo polish. That's the polish there. That is just straight up Nintendo polish. Forward thinking, and the idea that if these games ever do need remade, we can just port them. And it's less of a hassle than it would be trying to get it done. And I think that's fucking cool, and I think that's neat. But it's almost, like I said, it's almost unfortunate, because I think that just kind of almost makes it a reality where I think it just kind of makes it a reality where, like, no matter what we do, we're going to hit that timeline where Nintendo just hands us these as ports, and then we're going to say, wow, that looks great, and it will look great, but they're not going to have to put any effort extra forth, if that makes any sense. Like this one isn't impressive. Obviously it's because it's 8-bit, or not 8-bit, not 8, I'm sorry. It's obvious because it's more like a pixelated style. Anyway, that one isn't as impressive as you would imagine. Is this the one we watched? This one is the one we watched. We didn't watch this one. See, this is what I'm curious on. I want to see this game in 4K. Yeah, that's nice. I just personally don't find them impressive because it just makes sense to me that the dev would make a game with a higher resolution model and textures then will be renderable, but that's just my opinion. It's not that it's like impressive in the idea that like I think you kind of like uh misunderstand where like where I'm impressed. It's not that I'm impressed that there are higher resolution models. It's that I'm impressed that the Nintendo Switch could run them and then downscale them. Because that seems like a lot of fucking processing power. That's why I'm impressed. Because downscaling is a difficult task in terms of like it's a difficult task for these games to be running anyway on that thing because the 3DS wasn't powerful. It wasn't powerful in a lot of cases, like we mentioned with like we mentioned with Smash. It would pop in and out higher resolution models or lower resolution models when it needed to. And I think that in and of itself is like inherently impressive because get 8 people into a Smash lobby on Switch and it will already have issues. And then try to get it to play that on the 3DS and it's even harder. But it was possible. And so I think it's impressive because like if this is what it was running, the one on the right, or if it's running the one that's on the left, like at all times, and then it's outputting the one on the right, I still think it's impressive that it's running these models on the left anyway. Because the 3DS always seemed like a console that couldn't handle much. Like if you would have asked me, like if you would have been like, Michael, look at the picture on the left and then look at the one on the right. Do you think that's a still image? Like that one right there on the left or the one on the right? Do you think that's like a fucking image or do you think it's a 3D space? I would have thought it was I would have thought that one on the left is not a 3D model. The thing is, it's not running the one on the left, though. The one on the left is just being rendered at a higher resolution. Yes, I don't think you're... What I'm saying is that I'm not impressed that the 3DS was doing that in and of itself. I'm impressed with the fact that they put these higher resolution models on that fucking thing. There is a discernible difference. You can tell where shit bleeds and where shit doesn't. Look at the one on the left. Look at the fucking shield right here. You can tell on this shield that there's like a dithering that's going on these things here. You can't see that these look like, you can't tell that these are just straight lines, as where over here you can see that they're straight lines, right? So yeah, it's a lower resolution, right? It's a lower resolution, but I'm impressed with the fact that they went through the fucking the minutia of going in and making it a higher res model to begin with. Because a lot of developers would say, okay, we gotta fucking just get this in here. We gotta do this. It has to be this. Why put up all the fucking time when we don't need to? And so they would just do this. They would just put out, a version of it that wasn't good looking because it'd be fucking easier to. But then you have like some of this shit going on, and it looks decent enough to where, yeah, I think that this is impressive that the 3DS was running this all along. Just because they're running these in 4K doesn't mean that these are 4K models. Obviously, they're not 4K models. But the fact that these models, like right here, like whenever it's going to go over to this 4K one, boom, that is a fucking impressive thing for the 3DS to just be running in general. Those look like GameCube models. And yeah, like fucking a little dinky fucking 3DS running GameCube models is impressive. That's fucking wildly impressive. I don't know. Agree to disagree. I don't know how you wouldn't be impressed with. I don't know how you wouldn't be impressed with a 3DS running higher than GameCube quality textures and models. Just knowing how this kind of hardware works. I mean, what's your background in it? Because I think that would probably offer more of a, I guess, a context. I'm about to graduate with a CS degree. Okay, well then you're probably decently, versed enough to talk about it. But I think to the layman, yeah, it's probably seemingly pretty impressive to see how this runs. I think you can graduate with one of those degrees and still be impressed knowing that the 3DS was an underpowered system. And if those are the models on the right, obviously, probably not at that entire resolution. I think you could still be slightly impressed to see that it's running it. But if not, to each their own. I'm more impressed with the artistry and dedication myself. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's obvious. Like, I think that's obvious enough in its own merit and whatnot, But I would definitely go as far as saying that, like, all in all, it's still massively impressive that it was able to do any of that. Okay, so chat, we got to get going. I have things to do. I unfortunately have to leave. Have a wonderful night, everybody. I'm sorry that well, I guess I can't say I'm sorry we didn't stream for longer. It's 3:25. Yeah, have a wonderful night. Had a fun stream. I think we're just gonna end it here. Yeah, guys, if you haven't, please consider subscribing. It does help out a ton. It means the world to me. If you have a Twitch Prime, consider using it here. Would sincerely appreciate it. We're gonna end it here though. I'm not seeing anybody live. Yeah, I think we're just gonna end it. Have a good one, everybody. Have a good one. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.